In the next season of Bluey, we're going to meet a new character in the main character's family, her cousin Pinky. Are you ready to discover the truth about this new baby? Time to be born. Do you remember that episode Sleepy Time? We're going to have a part 2 of that episode, but the main character of the story won't be Bingo Healer. Instead, it will be the little puppy Pinky, a pink-colored girl who will be dreaming about the bottom of the ocean. And it's important for you to understand that this will be the very first episode of season 4, which means nobody knows who this new character is yet, but that's okay. Let's keep getting to know Pinky. This character will dream about fish, octopuses, and she'll be swimming at the bottom of the ocean, looking at colorful coral reefs and all the wonderful things that exist in the sea. And then, all of a sudden, Pinky will start seeing things that normally don't exist in the ocean, such as unicorns, fairies, butterflies, and little animal outfits. Wait, what is this? How is that possible? She'll get scared and try to run away, and then the little puppy will swim upward and higher until she finally reaches the surface and breathes fresh air. At that moment, we'll discover that the ocean surface is actually the real world. Pinky was being born, but there's still a mystery. Who are Pinky's parents? If she's Bluey Healer's new cousin, then she can only be the daughter of 2 people. Want to talk about that? And for you who made it this far, we have a special invitation. Click the join button down below and become part of our exclusive group of subscribers. We have 3 plans for you to choose from. You can become a Wave Fund member and use our badges on your profile and special emojis in the channel's video comments. Or you can become a Wave Plus member and get early access to our videos and priority replies in the comments. But if you want access to our exclusive members-only videos and polls, you can become a Wave Max member. Starting at $2.99, you can become the newest member of Cinewave. Click now and get even closer to us. Mom and Dad. Who is Pinky's mother? That's a huge mystery that you probably have no idea about. Wait, who are we trying to fool? Pinky's mom can only be Frisky or Aunt Brandy Cattle. They are Bluey's aunts who could have a baby right now, because Aunt Trixie Healer doesn't seem interested at all in having a 3rd pup. Not to mention that Bluey's new cousin has pink fur, and the breed of dog that Trixie and Stripe Healer are already makes it clear that they wouldn't be the parents. And that also proves that Uncle Radley Healer and Frisky probably aren't the parents of the new little puppy either. Bluey's older uncle is a mix of Blue Healer and Red Healer, while his wife is an English Cocker Spaniel. The color of their fur makes it clear that it would be impossible for them to have a pink puppy, so that leaves only one possibility. Pinky is the daughter of Aunt Brandy, and we already knew since the end of the last season that this character was about to arrive, since Chili Healer's sister appeared pregnant. And you might think, wait a minute, Chili's sister isn't pink either. Yes, but her husband, Bluey's new uncle, could definitely have that color. Dad. There's a very hot rumor going around the internet these last few days saying that Pinky, Bluey's new cousin, is actually the daughter of Aunt Brandy and the brother of Bella the Poodle. That's right, Coco's uncle. And let's be clear, this actually makes perfect sense. Poodles are the only characters who have that fur color in the Bluey universe, and Bella has already made it clear that she comes from a big family. She has 9 puppies and certainly many brothers. Not to mention that, as we already explained, it's the Poodle family that could produce a pink pup. This new character will be known as Dennis, and he is the husband of Bluey's aunt. This character is important because apparently he will join the series as one of the coolest dads in the entire show, and that also means something else. Bluey and Coco will share a cousin, and that's really cool and will be very important in the future. Crib. Now, we also have another episode idea that has been circulating around the internet these last few days. Do you remember that crib that Chili was crying about donating? That baby bed will be Pinky's very first crib. Because of that, she will be the 3rd child to sleep in that bed, and that's really beautiful because it's as if Chili and her sister are sharing their children's bed. Besides that, there's something even more special about this. The fact that this new little puppy will become the owner of the crib that used to belong to her cousins will turn into a family tradition. We'll still explain how that could happen, but just to make it clear, we will definitely have episodes that take place in the future. At least that's what our sources indicate. Are you ready to see all these stories? We can hardly wait. Would you like to sleep in Bluey's bed? Comment the hashtag Bluey so we can get to know each other. Floppy. Do you know Bingo Healer's favorite toy, Floppy? It has everything to do with the arrival of this new character, of course, because Pinky will become the new owner of the plush bunny. The reason for that is very simple. Bingo received Floppy to help her sleep. That's why the little red healer always sleeps with it, but that happened because she was very young and needed some company. After the episode Sleepy Time though, Bingo grew up and became a big girl. In other words, Floppy will now have a new mission, protecting the sleep of the family's new little puppy. Bingo, as an older and responsible cousin, will give Floppy as a gift to Pinky, and this episode is one of the most anticipated in the new season. Brisbane. You might be wondering exactly where Pinky will live with her parents, and the answer is pretty clear. Of course Bluey's new cousin will live in Brisbane, but saying that isn't as simple as you might think. The truth is that Chili's sister didn't live close to her sister. In fact, it had been 4 years since she last visited her nieces. She hadn't even met Bingo Healer. But what changed? It turns out that Aunt Brandy Cattle had always dreamed of having a puppy, but she was never able to, and because of that, she felt sad knowing that her sister lived happily and peacefully with 2 beautiful and healthy daughters. She didn't feel jealousy because that feeling is awful. What she felt was sadness for not being able to achieve her dream. But now everything has changed because Chili's sister will finally have her own little pup, and there is no better place to raise a child than close to Bluey Healer and Bingo. Now we just need to know where their house will be. Will it be near the Healer house? Hopefully yes, because then Pinky could study at Calypso's school. Duel. Do you know what the funniest part is? Pinky will also be the reason for some arguments between Bluey and Coco. Remember that the 2 of them will share the same cousin, but don't worry, we're not talking about a bad fight. It's more like a healthy and very funny competition. This could become one of the best episodes of the entire new season. Bluey will try to make her new cousin smile, but Pinky won't find her jokes funny. Then the pink poodle will say that she can definitely do it better than the main character. That's when we see the title card and Bluey's voice saying, "This episode is called The Cousins Showdown." They'll dress up like clowns, do dances and silly games, but Pinky will still keep a straight face. In the end, without knowing how to make their cousin smile, Mom will arrive and explain that Pinky is only making that face because she's hungry. It's a shame that nobody wins the battle, but at least we'll laugh a lot watching Bluey and Coco being silly. Don't you agree? Walking. And anyone who thinks the surprises with Pinky are over, think again, because there will still be an episode about this character's first steps. And you know what would be really fun? If she learned how to walk while playing princesses, just like in the season 1 episode Adventure. In that story, Bluey and Chloe play several characters where a princess must travel through a distant land in order to defeat an evil witch. But in the end, the witch is only defeated after Bluey comes up with the idea of throwing a tennis ball at her. The truth is that this game would work perfectly for Pinky's first steps, because dogs simply can't resist running after a ball. Chasing a toy sounds like the perfect reason to start walking, don't you agree? The subscribe button is right there, waiting for you. How about clicking and keeping up with everything we post? Jumping. Speaking of walking, what about the day of Pinky's first jumps? Kids love to jump, especially when they're wearing a kangaroo outfit. As you probably know, kangaroos are the animal that best represents Australia, and Aunt Brandy is known for giving animal outfits to the kids in the family. That's exactly what she did for Bluey and Bingo with those zebra and leopard costumes. Of course, Pinky would look incredibly cute in a kangaroo outfit, and as Chili Healer herself once said, Bingo is very similar to her aunt, which means Pinky might end up being similar to her cousin. In other words, Pinky could have the same problem Bingo had when wearing costumes. She'll want to imitate a kangaroo and start hopping everywhere. First kiss. Did you know that Pinky could be the reason for the first kiss between Bluey and Mackenzie Border Collie? In this episode, baby Pinky wouldn't be the main character, but she would still play a big role in the story. We're talking about the episode Double Babysitter Part 2, when Bluey is taking care of her little cousin and Mackenzie is there helping her. Of course, they would still need to invent a reason for the Border Collie to be at the Healer house that night, maybe doing a school project with the main character while she babysits her cousin. In this episode, Pinky would play the 20 questions game with the older kids, just like it once happened with Frisky. The result would be that Pinky asks Bluey if she loves someone, and the cousin becomes embarrassed. Of course, kids always ask the right questions, and Mackenzie realizes that Bluey is shy to answer because the answer is yes, Bluey loves someone. One thing leads to another, the 2 of them talk about it, and maybe we see a kiss between between them. But it's important to make it clear that this would be an episode set in the future, because only then would Bluey and Mackenzie be old enough to have that kind of conversation. We think it could be very romantic. What do you think? Fairy. Is it possible that Pinky might see fairies the same way Bingo did in season 1? We think so, because as we explained, the two of them have everything they need to be very similar. And if that happens, the show could confirm that magical babies really exist in this universe. But there's another reason we're talking about this. Maybe the fairy Bingo saw was actually a vision of a new little puppy that was about to be born. In this case, an image of Pinky herself. If this fan theory turns out to be true and Pinky sees fairies too, then it could mean that another puppy is on the way. And in that case, it could only be the child of Frisky and Uncle Radley Healer. Hopefully that's true, because that would be an incredible reveal. What do you think about that? Godmother. You know that Frisky is Bluey's godmother, right? But now she's also the main character's aunt after marrying her uncle. So what does that have to do with Pinky? Well, some fans believe that Bluey's daughter is Pinky's godchild. This little puppy appeared at the end of the episode Surprise from season 3. The theory says that we might see a future episode where Pinky is chosen to be Roxy's godmother, but nobody knows that yet. If we had to guess, we would say that Pinky will probably be closer to Bingo, so she might end up becoming the godmother of Bingo's child, while Frisky's daughter would take care of Roxy instead. Don't you think that makes more sense? Tell us before today's video ends. Luckily, the fun continues. The fun doesn't stop here. There are 2 amazing videos waiting for you on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.